RetroFloraPodcast. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Charmy, and we're just two crazy sisters with the opinion and a channel.
If you like true crime, conspiracy, and supernatural crap, then this is your channel.
So what do we got today, Brenda?
Today is a true crime. I actually saw this true crime on that HBO Max show. I guess it's an investigation and discovery. I don't know what it's on. It's on HBO Max, and it's called Mean Girl Murders. So I saw this episode, then I went on my own and did some research, and it's pretty messed up. Basically, the series is about like mean girls and murders.
Not Mean Girls, the comedy.
No, not Mean Girls comedy. Like girls who are like mean for no reason or whatever. High school clique mean girls, but then you got like adult real life mean girls too. So
yeah,
it's an okay show. I feel like they do like the little dramatic scenes where they act it out, and I feel like that they don't need that. But, I feel like that's not needed. But I like that the family goes on there and like says some stuff.
What did you rate it? Actually, did you finish it?
Well, it's an ongoing series, but I guess I would rate it like a 5 or 6.
Out of 10?
Yeah, it's like an average type of like criminal show. Yeah, that's what I rated. So today we're gonna talk about Stacy DeGrandchamp. So this story has a lot of names, you guys. A lot of names. I will again say who these people are because you might forget
who's who.
Yes, but there's a lot of names in this. Stacy DeGrandchamp was born October 28th, 1984 in Fort Wayne, Indiana to mother Rita DeGrandchamp.
What about her father?
I didn't see him, so I just didn't put him. There wasn't really much said about him, Stacy was an only child. She went to Wayne High School. Stacy hung out with the preppy kids. She loved volleyball. Friends described her as goofy with an outgoing personality. She was confident and beautiful. In the summer of 2002, 17-year-old Stacy met 20-year-old Brandon Muff at a house party. Brandon was described as a bad boy, but Stacy was head over heels in love with him. She started hanging out more with Brandon's group of friends, where she met high school party girls Amanda Richards and Whitney McGehee. The group of party girls often partied at 16-year-old Holly Boisevert's house. Her dad was okay with the parties. Holly was described as a mean girl, but fun to be around. She and Stacy had some friction between them that had dated back to middle school, but in high school they had buried the hatchet. Both girls were cordial with each other, basically frenemies, because they had mutual friends. Holly had dated Brandon in the past, but they were friends now. It was thought that Holly thought she and Brandon would get back together. She was jealous of Stacy and told their mutual friend Whitney she didn't like Stacy, and Stacy felt the same way towards Holly. Both girls were strong-willed and had strong personalities. Once again, there was friction between Holly and Stacy. And after Stacy and Whitney had a falling out, Holly added fuel to the flames. She started more rumors about Stacy to cause more people to turn on her.
How could her dad be okay with those underage parties?
Girl, and I don't know, because there were like 50 to 60 people at these parties too, and she had a pool, so they were able to have pool parties at her house too. So towards the end of the summer of 2002, Stacy broke up with Brandon and stopped hanging out with him and his crowd. And I think it was because she couldn't deal with the drama between her and Holly. They were just
it wasn't because of bad boy Brandon.
Well, maybe, but she really did not. Stacy did not like Holly. That was just key. And then it was bad. It was hard for her because her and Whitney had a out, and so it was I don't really want to be around that group of people right now because a lot of the girls don't like me.
Yeah, it's just a bad situation.
She began to hang out with a new friend she had met during the summer, Abby Oswald. Abby met Stacy through Brandon, and the two became close. On August 15, 2002, Stacy and Abby went to the mall to find their senior pick outfits. Abby told Stacy about a party they should go to on Gunther Street, which was not their typical party spot, but it was where Brandon and his roommate lived, Justin Troop. It was believed that Brandon asked Abby to come so he can get Stacy back. I don't know if it's true, but that's the rumor mill. Stacy really didn't want to go. She was worried that Holly and Whitney and Amanda would all be there, but people were saying that the girls wouldn't be there. Even though Stacy was reluctant, Abby convinced her to go, and Abby was really not taking no for an answer. She was like, "Girl, please come with me to this party."
I guess she didn't want to go alone, but they're all friends, especially since this is Brandon's house.
Right? Yeah.
He's my ex-boyfriend,
and it's not their typical hangout spot. That's not usually, well, I mean, obviously she couldn't go to their typical hangout spot because she wasn't really messing with Holly, but...
Yeah.
Stacy and Abby arrived to the party around 9:30 p.m. Stacy saw Holly sitting on the front porch with Brandon.
At that point, just leave.
Yeah, same. Whitney and Amanda were not with her. They had dropped Holly off and went to hang out with another group of friends. And Whitney had said in like the interview during the show that the reason her and Amanda didn't stay is because they were not allowed to hang out over that house.
Why? They didn't say?
I'm assuming like whatever Brandon was doing, it was not, their parents were not okay with it.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess they were okay with hanging out at Holly's house with 60 people. They just couldn't go to Brandon's house. Stacy asked what she was doing here, and the two began a verbal argument, which led into them physically fighting. Stacy was beating Holly up, so Brandon broke up the fight by dragging Stacy by her ankles and pulling her into some recycling bins in the yard. Stacy got up and staggered down the driveway where Abby told her that they should just get out of here.
Yeah, they should have done that before he even parked the car.
Right. I'm trying to figure out why he grabbed her by her ankles though, because I just feel like that's such a weird thing to do. As Stacy was walking to the passenger side, she collapsed. Abby immediately ran over to Stacy to see what happened. Brandon also ran over to Stacy. He pulled up Stacy's shirt and noticed her bra was soaked in blood. Stacy was rushed to Parkview Hospital. Abby was questioned, and Holly and Brandon were taken to the police station to be questioned. Police checked the scene, but they didn't find any weapons. Stacy had a stab wound to the upper chest and a second stab wound to her abdomen. Rita, Stacy's mom, rushed to the hospital after receiving news that Stacy was hurt. And it was actually Brandon who left her a voicemail saying like she needed to get to the hospital because like Stacy was injured.
She collapsed.
Yeah. When she arrived at the hospital, the doctors told her the devastating news that Stacy didn't make it. Meanwhile, Holly and Brandon were being questioned at the police station. Holly claimed she had nothing to do with the stab wound on Stacy and that she and Stacy got into an argument that turned physical. She also told officers she didn't have a knife.
How she got a stab wound?
So yeah, basically, when they
didn't just appear.
When they were questioning Holly, she kept telling them that Stacy was the one beating her up, and
I thought Stacy was beating her up.
I mean, she was beating her up, and that she doesn't know how she got stabbed because she was the one like getting
attacked,
like, punched out and kicked out because like Stacy was kicking her, and Stacy was really whooping her.
Okay.
Yeah, so she believes Stacy got those stab wounds from the glass in the recycling bins. Brandon told detectives that he grabbed Stacy by the ankles and dragged her into the recycling bins, and maybe the glass caused her injuries. Detectives decided to check the recycling bins and found no broken glass and no blood. The coroner's report came out and stated that the stab wounds were intentional and caused by a single-edged bladed knife. With no evidence to hold Brandon and Holly, they were released, and police continued their investigation.
Suspicious.
Right. So basically, the story that Holly and Brandon are saying that like some glass in the recycling bin stabbed her or whatever.
Even though the coroner said it's from a
even before the coroner's report came out, there was no blood in any of the recycling bins and no broken glass. So there was no way that the glass could have stabbed her. On August 19th, 2002, Stacy was laid to rest. She was buried in her senior outfit. That is so sad.
It really is.
I can't even imagine the pain her mom felt. This is her only child. After the funeral, rumors began to spread that Brandon and his friends set Stacy up so Holly could hurt her. And everyone began distancing themselves from Holly.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah, like high key, sounds like it. Police began to look at Abby and wondered why she would even bring Stacy knowing her history with Brandon and Holly. Rumors of Abby's involvement spread throughout the high school, so police questioned Abby again, but she denied being involved. She told detectives she tried to break up the fight, so detectives ruled her out. Detectives turned their eyes back to Brandon. They questioned Brandon's roommate, Justin Troop, and he told them he was trying to break up the fight, but Brandon pushed him aside and told him to let them fight. So I'm thinking that Brandon was like enjoying two girls fighting over him, and that's why he pushed Justin to the side. Brandon was brought back to the police station for questioning, but he refused to give any more information, stating, quote, "He ain't no snitch."
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. He said he didn't see Holly with a knife, and with no murder weapon and no witnesses coming forward, police could not make any arrest, and the case went cold. And so, I mean, that's just crazy. Like, it's like you kind of know who did it, but it's like, no.
It's either one of y'all three.
Right.
I don't think Abby did it.
Yeah.
It's one of y'all two, Brandon or Holly.
But in 2019, 17 years later, Stacy's cousin Jamie McMillan reached out to cold case detective Brian Martin. She asked him to re-interview Abby, Holly, Brandon, and Amanda, one of the friends at the party, Amanda, just in case you forget who she was.
Yeah.
Detectives tracked Abby down and re-interviewed her. She told detectives she didn't see a knife. So basically, Abby didn't really give detectives much new information. She was very adamant that she did not see a knife that night. Next, detectives spoke with Brandon, but he was adamant that he didn't see a knife. So next, detectives went to speak with Holly. Holly said she didn't harm Stacy, but what was strange was Holly kept referring to Stacy as her good friend. Detectives found that odd given their history.
We all know they had beef.
Right. She literally told Whitney she did not like Stacy. So for her to keep saying Stacy's my good friend and all this stuff, police.
Why'd you fight her?
Right. And just everything leading up to it, spreading rumors about her, all that stuff. Police weren't buying it. They were really looking at Holly girl, stop. And here's the clip of Holly's interview, and you can just tell, girl, stop. You're just bull crapping everything.
Everybody there, we were all friends.
But you and Stacy had kind of had a little beef going on because of Brandon.
It was so stupid. That was.
I agree. It was like one of those just petty high school girl things, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so
I know everybody says that I did something to her. I know that they blame me. She was my friend. We were terrible teenage girls, but she was still my friend. Would not have done that to her intentionally. I never would have pulled a knife on her. We were terrible bitches to each other, but she was still my friend. I didn't expect that we were gonna fight.
Detectives asked Holly if she ever had a pocket knife at that time, and she admitted she did have a knife that she carried around with her for protection, but she claimed that she did not have it with her the night of the party. And I'm really surprised that she even told them that.
Yeah, me too. I feel like that's something you should not talk about.
Right.
If you're trying to get away with it.
Right. I would have been no. Detectives asked her if she still had the knife, which to their surprise, she did, and she gave it to them. You think it's guilt? I was wondering if it was guilt. If she either had to be so cocky that she was like, there's nothing on this knife, they're not going to be able to find it, find any DNA on it. Or she was just like, I have lived with this for guilt. 17 years.
Because there's no way,
But even with the guilt, I'm sitting here thinking, why you didn't say, when they came in there and started asking you why you didn't say anything. Yeah, I don't know why she gave it to them, but she did. The test results came back negative for any of Stacy's DNA.
Of course it was. 20 years later?
17, but yes.
17 years later?
But they still continued to run tests on the knife, and the knife was consistent with the stab wounds on Stacy. So on Wednesday, March 25th, 2020, Holly was taken into custody and arrested. On November 12th, 2020, the pre-trial for Holly began. Amanda Richards, who, remember, was in the car with Holly and Whitney that night, finally came forward and testified. Now, why it took her 17 years to come forward, I don't know. I don't know if the guilt started eating at her. I just feel like, girl, I don't know why it took you this long to say something. She said, on the night of the party, Holly gave her knife to put in her purse. I know, that was a lot of hers in that sentence. So basically, Holly gave Amanda Holly's knife.
So Holly gave Amanda her knife.
Yes, so that Amanda could hold it in her purse.
Okay, so Amanda's holding Holly's knife.
Correct.
Okay.
As Amanda and Whitney were about to leave, Holly asked for her knife back, and Amanda handed it back to Holly and didn't think anything of it, because she was just holding it for the night. So her asking for it back because she's leaving wasn't a red flag for her. Holly was offered a plea deal, and the family was okay with this. I think they wanted the plea deal so they could just
have closure.
Yeah.
But at this point, aren't you guilty?
She is. She pled guilty. So she pled guilty and was sentenced to 25 years and 3 years probation. And there is a possibility with good behavior and time served. So I looked at Illinois, and in Illinois, individuals in custody only have to serve 50 to 85% of their sentence.
So 50 of 25 is around 12, 13 years?
Because the earliest that she can get out is 2030.
That's 10 years. If she goes into 2020.
Yeah. I mean, considering good behavior too. Well, that's still almost half her sentence. But like there's still the possibility that she's not gonna get it because like just because you go up for parole doesn't mean you like get it.
She's probably gonna get it.
You think so? After 17, I don't know. It will, I guess, depending on how good she is in prison.
Like, she literally gave herself up.
She did.
It shows remorse and guilt and...
Not enough remorse for me. It's been 17 years, so if it wasn't for Stacy's cousin, would she have ever given herself up? Because Stacy's cousin really was adamant about, like, re-interview these people. I'm not sure if maybe one of them came to her and was like, I kind of know something, or if the rumor mill started happening and was like, one of them actually really knows something and is ready to come forward.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just feel like, Holly girl, like, it's been 17 years.
It's really sad. I do think, though, it was guilt and that really, like, prompted her, because she could have got away with it if they didn't have the knife.
Yeah. I'm really surprised she kept that.
For all those years.
Yeah.
She could have easily gotten rid of it.
She really could have.
But do you think she planned on it? I don't think she planned on stabbing her.
She asked for the knife back.
But I feel like that's because that's my knife, though.
Well, I'll say this. When Amanda and Whitney left, Stacy had just arrived. So it was kind of like they saw Stacy pull up.
Oh. Okay.
Right. So I don't know. She just brought the knife in to fight with her, so it was kind of just like, girl. She knew look, I don't know if she knew she's gonna murder her, but she knew she was about to beat her up that night.
Yeah, she's trying to hurt her.
Yeah. I even though there's no evidence to say that Abby set her up, I don't know, man. I just don't like Abby not taking no for an answer, knowing like the history between them. But then, I mean, they're teenagers.
Stacy would be there?
I mean,
Abby know Holly was gonna be there?
We don't really know for sure.
Can't trust nobody.
I just think that if I'm your friend, I'm not about to put you around your ex-boyfriend.
Really?
And then there was something else I didn't add. They had looked into Whitney at first because she had left a voice message to Stacy, saying like, you better watch your back and stuff like that. But when they interviewed Whitney about that, she was telling her that she knew Holly wanted to fight her, so she called her up to let her know like, you do need to watch your back because Holly is looking for you. So it was like Holly definitely wanted to harm Stacy. Now, if she wanted to go that far, we don't really know. But when police re-interviewed Brandon, they said he showed a lot of remorse. Like, you could tell this was eating at him for years. Yeah. Okay. And then you guys tell us how you feel about the interview with Holly, because I don't know, man. I just felt like she was giving me that vibe of a kid who knows they're about to get in trouble and they're kind of like trying to be like, but like we were friends, but like
make herself look better.
Yeah. So that's the vibe I was getting from her. And that is the sad case of Stacy DeGrandchamp. Honestly, she did not get to graduate, and that just really breaks my heart. Because they were so excited that day. They went to go get their senior pictures, like outfits, yeah, for the pictures. And I remember being a senior and going to take my senior pictures. And, well, for me it was different. I was like, thank God I'm leaving the school, but like, still, it was still kind of like, yay, like this is the big year. Like this is literally all leading, like all the school I have been doing is finally at this point of an end. Well, mandatory end, because this is the mandatory school I gotta do.
Yeah.
We still had to go to college, so. Well, you've made it to the end.
You must really like the sounds of our high-pitched voices and quirky commentary.
You might as well like and subscribe to our channel and hit that bell to be notified every time we drop new content. If you want to follow our social medias, they will be linked in the description box below.
Bye!
Peace, you guys. Have a great April.